Welcome, everybody, to the August 22nd edition of the Business Relations Strategists meeting. This particular session is going to revolve around getting a jump start on the career fair, which is supposed to occur towards the end of September. So usually a lot of people think that when they come to career fairs that they're going to get jobs on the spot or possibly get interviews. But the whole job search landscape has evolved through the years. And part of what we want to teach you, what we're teaching you today, is that you do not need to be at a physical event to reach out to the people in the companies, in the jobs that you want for yourself eventually. So we're squashing that myth, if you will, that you need to just go to the Illinois Tech Career Services event, for example, so that will make sure that you get your internship or your full-time job. So before we proceed, welcome, Emily. Glad to see that you joined us. We have Antoinette, we have Vicky, we have Chantru, Manoj, Ivan, and Narani so far, most of whom have participated in previous editions of this business relations call. What we've been doing over the summer was actually reaching out to companies to invite them to the career fair. So that was the activity during the summertime. Now we're going to focus it and prepare you a bit more in that you are ready for the career fair. That's going to occur at the end of September. So before I proceed, I would like folks to share, especially for the people who will be listening to this recording, what they have gotten out of business relations so far and how you see that as supporting people in the upcoming career fair. Who wants to go first?
Okay, so
Thank you, Antoinette.
Yes, so for me, what I've learned is that even though like you're trying to ultimately get something from a recruiter or something, or someone in a company, might not necessarily be a recruiter, maybe a senior level manager or a manager, your approach matters a lot, right? Your approach matters because you don't want to have the approach of, oh, what can I just get from you? No, you have to show interest in what they like, the posts they make, in what they do, talk about other things you get. In that way, you are kind of subconsciously also like letting them know, okay, this person is active in my page or stuff like that. Ask them about other things. In that way, you are positioning yourself subconsciously for them to know that, okay, there's someone like this. And when an opportunity presents itself, which it will hopefully one day, you can then put in what it is that you want to ask. For me personally, right, I have had to like I've met some people physically that I connected with on LinkedIn, and I just like I'm keeping it on the professional level. I'm not telling them, oh, this is what I want or something. I'm just asking them, oh, how's your job? Or I comment on their post and stuff like that. So that is the approach I'm currently taking and I'm currently doing, because these connections are important, and you need to maintain and keep them. And you don't want to push someone away by just like pushing in your request to them just like that. So yeah, thank you.
Very good. Very good, Antoinette. Thank you for sharing that. In that, I like the way you're approaching this so far. And what you're doing is really truly making a friend. Before I proceed any further, in your opinion, or in your own words, Antoinette, can you please encapsulate what we're talking about in business relations? What is the gist of what we are doing and how will it support you eventually in your internships or finding your full-time job, Antoinette?
Okay, so we are trying to like it's like what it's the name says, business relationship. We are trying to build a relationship with people in our professional space and our professional career. And I remember you once mentioned that it's not just only the recruiters we should look at for, like we should just want to make friends with someone in the manager level. You could make friends with the person, genuine friendship, genuine connections. And one day a case may come up and the person be like, oh, okay, this person. And then that's how you can like get to, for my own case, internship. You can get an opportunity for internship or for an entry-level role or for a role, because you are building this friendship, this genuine business relationship with this individual or this company, well, the individual representing the company in quotes. So yes, it's important you manage your friendships, like the relationship, the business you are building, the relationship you are building with that individual.
That's so awesome, Antoinette. I love how you focused on strengthening the friendship versus focusing on them helping you with a job. Thank you for sharing that.
No.
Anybody else want to say in your own words what the business relations approach is and how it's going to support you as students currently, but how it's going to support you? Who's going to be next after Antoinette?
Yeah, I can go.
Please, thank you, Ivan.
Yeah, so I think at this session, mostly it helped me to write to ask the right kind of questions when I meet people and try not to position myself in a way that they will forget. So I have been out like to maybe like 3, 5 conferences this summer, but I have improved drastically compared to the to the conferences I attended. And at least I know that yeah, I got like two of them, two people I personally interacted with.
Mhm.
Two of them happened to like share with me and they're like, oh, they started talking about internships in their company, but like yeah, I found it difficult to establish like via email, but at the personal level, when I met the people, I made like I asked the right kind of questions to those people, and at least I got like I made a small instant relationship with them, and
Perfect. I love that. When you say instant relationships. So Ivan, could you please give us an example of what a right question is? And could you contrast that with how you were asking the wrong questions previously?
so
Can
there
you
was
tell us
this
more?
yeah, so there was this man who was just there like was from United Airlines, so he was talking to so many people, so I just stood somewhere. So when he finished talking, I went and I was like, oh, sorry, I've seen that you've been standing here talking to people for the whole day.
Mhm.
I think you should be tired. Like it's not easy to talk to people the whole day. So he ended up telling me about how he has been to Ghana, how he has gone there with his friend, the marriage. He showed me the pictures. And
Wow, he showed you pictures?
yeah, so like from just there, but just empathizing with him and showing that he has been talking the whole day because people were coming asking for connections and he was tired. So I just told him like, oh, you should be tired. And we talked for a good time. And yeah,
That's amazing, Ivan. So what I want the audience on this call to catch is notice how Ivan could have done what everybody else was doing. I'm assuming this was some sort of networking event where people were looking for jobs, Ivan, is that correct?
yes, it was Tech
Okay,
Chicago. Yes.
yeah. And so what you did at Tech Chicago was you took a different approach. You didn't follow what everybody else was doing, and with your knowledge of being a business relations strategist. The reason we're called strategists is because you have to think of all these things in trying to get what it is that you want. We all know that Ivan eventually wants to get a job, and in this case, it was with United Airlines. But did you guys see how strategic he was in the approach? In that, as he was waiting for everybody to talk to this person that he wanted to talk to, he was just observing. He took the time out, and when he was the only one, he actually went there. And guess what Ivan talks about? He didn't talk just like everybody else, who I'm pretty sure was like, hey, can you tell us about opportunities at United Airlines? What was your question again, Ivan? What
No,
was
I
your
just told
opening
him,
line?
I just told him, yeah, I'm so sorry, like to come and talk to you, but I know you've been talking the whole day, but like,
Wow.
so
So
just
did you see the difference, ladies and gentlemen? He appealed to the humanity of the other person that he was trying to approach. And by virtue of him not speaking about help me find a job, what are the opportunities at United Airlines, guess what? His person actually even opened up and was even showing personal pictures. Did you see
yeah,
how that relationship was created very, very quickly by number one being different and number two addressing the human being on the other side? Because after all these hiring managers, all these recruiters are also human beings. So great strategy, Ivan. Nice work.
yeah, thank you.
Anybody else want to share what they're getting out of this business relations strategist and how this is going to help people in jump starting their career fair at the end of September? Who's next?
I can go next, Bunny.
All right, Manoj, thank you.
Yeah, so I think overall for me, being a part of like the business relation strategist sessions, it has just been an eye opener for me because as students, we do train a lot on like technical aspects, and no one really teaches us, like for example, how to talk to someone, how a handshake for a man should be different for a handshake to a woman, how you can like just engage with someone like naturally. So I think overall, like just my time like being around like the business relations or like even looking at the old videos, I think it has really transformed the way that I approach people, like be it on LinkedIn or be it in person. um, because I've like for me personally, I've just realized that you have to be like more approachable in that sense, and you just don't want to like how you would say like just grab their neck. Like you would want to like ease your way into the conversation as well. So I think for me personally, and since like I've always been an introvert and like I've not naturally had this tendency of like reaching out to people. So I think just with the nuances that have been mentioned in the business relations, so I think I've been able to apply that a lot to my like reaching out to people on LinkedIn or in person. And I think you can never always be like perfect in an approach. And like I remember when we had a session where you pointed out how I could use this. So I think just the fact that you have someone to reach out to, like when you're in trouble, and like when you can discuss like how you can alternatively like approach people, really makes a difference in my opinion. And I just love how you keep reiterating on the fact why you are calling it business relations and not networking. And like over time, I've just seen like what the difference is, because like you can just have like so many connections on your LinkedIn, but if you can't like reach out to them and if you can't have a conversation with them, like there's no point of having them connected on. So I think this is my feedback from the business relations, what I've learned so far.
That was so awesome, Manoj. Thank you for sharing that, and that you have started focusing on the relationships versus just making connections with various people. If you had to
Right.
give advice to somebody who was new to the career fair and it was their
Yeah.
first time
Right.
this September, what
Right.
would be your top 2 tips that you would like to give them? How can they jumpstart their participation?
So I think something that everyone will notice in their first career fair is with or without the VIP badge, it is always like occupied in a sense that people are always talking to like employers. So I would just say like if people are like scared or nervous to start talking to people, just start talking to people that are not related like to the field that you're looking at. Like just have a conversation with them. Like I just remember from the first career fair that I attended, like I talked to people like who are from architecture and who are not even hiring. And like they said like when I went to the table, they were like, we are not hiring, because they could see the badge. And I was like, I just came here to talk to you. And because like I just told them like I came to talk to you since you've taken this time to come today. And it's like we just had like such a great conversation as well. So I would just say like just, I mean, of course, everyone wants a job at the end of the day, but you never know, like where which person can help you out where. So I would like strongly recommend like just keep yourself open to talking to all people instead of like just being focused on like your particular space of work, because you never know, like that person can have a friend who you can say, oh, I met this guy. He didn't even come like to ask for a job. He just came to talk to us. So I think my advice would be like just read the situation in a sense and see like if there are a lot of people talking and you know that it's going to take longer. I would just say like talk to the other people at least, so that is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's like there will be like a QR for the resume and stuff, and you know that your resume will reach out to them. But you also have to make sure that you're utilizing this opportunity like to make new connections. So that would be like my feedback to someone starting new.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. You said something quite interesting that I would request that you expound on some more.
Sure.
And I
Yes.
also request that the rest of the other, I would say the people who are more regular on the calls, and By the way, welcome to Shubham, who just joined us, and Deepak as well. They just joined us. I would say the more the students who have attended these sessions more regularly are Manoj, Antoinette, Ivan, and Shubham as well. Some of the others, like Chantru, I just invited, but Narani, feel free to jump in at any time if you want to contribute. But the question that I want to lead everybody to talk about is reading the situation. I repeat, reading the situation. What does that mean to you, Manoj? And then everybody else who wants to chime in, please give us your version of how you've applied what you've learned in business relations and how you have read the situation, be it on LinkedIn or in person. So please go ahead, Manoj, and then whoever is next follows after Manoj, please.
Yeah, so for me, reading the situation would be like, let's just take the career fair, for example, since we are on the topic. So let's say, for example, like a lot of students are CS based or ITM based. So all of them approach like IT companies. And you know that a lot of people are going to stand in that line. Now you have two options. Either you just wait in that line and you wait to talk to that one person, or you see the tables that are empty and you see people that are waiting for people to come. So you just see over the time, like people's energy just goes down, and the sooner you talk to them, the more they have to give to you in terms of a conversation. Because once after lunch, you just see like they just start getting exhausted because a lot of students talk to them as well. So I think for me, reading the situation would just be like finding like the empty tables or finding the tables that have like lower people, and like you just want to maximize your connections as well, because like at the end of the day, with how the career fair is designed, like, and with how we're going digital with everything, there'll be a QR code to scan for you. And it's like, if you realize that it's going to be a wait, you might as well like just talk to the other people. So for me, that would be my version of like reading the situation.
Awesome. Thank you, Manoj.
I would like to add something. If you don't mind.
Who
I
was
would like
that, please?
I'd like to say something, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Antoinette. Go ahead, Antoinette.
So about reading the situation, for me, one thing again is that someone's, I don't know, maybe, okay, I think it's fine now. Reading the situation for me, I also believe, like for me, for like physically, my own personal experience. So I went for a boat cruise with one of these organizations, ISSA, and I networked with people, and there was someone also that I met. It was from one of these very big companies. And when we interacted, we just talked about life. He told me about how he loves how he has been to White Sox, how he gets his own private area because of the company he works with. We just talked about everything, general life and everything. I didn't talk about like I'm looking for an internship or something. We just the conversation actually was just flowing, because when they had a draw, they had so I won, he also won a drink, I won a backpack and all that. So that's how we started talking and we connected. And from that relation, right? Like I talked about reading the situation. I didn't say anything about job and all that stuff. But I told him I was a student and stuff like that. So he offered that, oh, we could come and I and my friend could come and take a tour at their office headquarters in Chicago. And then we went. It was a very beautiful building and all that stuff. Though he's leaving that place right now because he got another job offer. But then again, from that place we were, he kind of also now told us about, oh, this is another thing that happens. There's a hangout that happens. You get to meet people that can actually connect with recruiters and all that. So it was more like now a chain of events. We had an organic conversation. It led to him inviting us to the headquarters to give us a tour of his office, which now led to him also introducing us into another event, wherein I also got to network with like people of different calibers. So sometimes the approach, reading the situation, your approach actually does matter. Because maybe if I had just come to you and be like, oh, sorry, I don't have the job for you, I don't have internship, and that would have just been it. But now we have like this organic friendship and relationship that we have built based on how I read the situation and how I interacted with him organically in that event. So I just wanted to add that.
That's so awesome, Antoinette. I love the way, I guess I can't stop smiling listening to your share so far, in that you started learning the information, you embraced it, and now you're making it your own, such that when you're, I guess the word strategist is truly what you guys are doing, in that whatever situation is thrown your way, it's like making the best out of it, but at the same time, you're trying to see what is the best way to make it effective to kind of like help you. But it also boils down to what you said earlier, Antoinette, in that you're genuinely creating relationships with people. So awesome. Thank you so much, Antoinette. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll share.
All right, awesome, Ivan. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so me, I'll go like the LinkedIn approach and the emailing. So yeah, the first time I got in this session, I used to send out email. I used to send out LinkedIn requests and like just ask about the job. But
I can tell you're smiling as you're speaking about this. You're about to share something good. I can tell you're
yeah,
smiling, even if I
so
don't see your face.
so like what I learned is when you send the request, if you send it today without say you sent without a note, there are other things you can do. So if the person is not responding, you can read the situation and know how to go about their profile and remind them that you are there. So you go hit there, you go like you follow them. If they don't reply, you also go to their post, keep commenting. But the most important thing, the first thing maybe if you have the opportunity to share that connection request, make the message as good as you can because it should stand out. They recognize you. So read the situation, whether email as depending on the kind of response they're giving you, you have to give a different kind of response. So it's not always like there is no like strategic approach, but you always have to be flexible depending on the kind of response you're getting from the person. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
so what I'm hearing you say, Ivan, is if you take a certain action, if you take action A, and then you're expecting a B reaction, but the person gave you a C reaction, it sounds to me like you're being flexible with your toolbox of
yes, yes.
strategies and tactics. And as you take a look at what the response was, i.e., reading the situation, you know to operate, how to do, you know, what your next move is.
Yes, yes.
It's not like there's
I think we lost Benny for a while. Can anyone hear Benny?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I think
smiling as you were sharing this, Ivan. What were you thinking of when you were sharing this?
sorry, so we lost you for like two
Yeah,
30
we
seconds.
lost you for a minute, Bernie. You
You
froze.
lost me for a minute. All right, so I guess I said when Ivan started his share, he was, I could hear he was smiling. I could hear,
No,
even
like
though
I
I could
was
see
my
him.
point was like before, like I used to have like when you send out the message or like you should do something and then wait for maybe like you're reaching out to a recruiter.
You were kind
You
of like
send
smiling at your old self.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because you used to like send a message and you're like, oh, I connected with the recruiter, it's a good thing. So you're happy. But no, you have to like there are some other things you can do extra and you could be at least maybe like you are doing something that you're confident that something is going on. Otherwise, if you just send out the request and not follow, I think yeah, the first question you asked me, like, what do I do when I send out the when I send the request? The first question you asked
Yeah.
me when I joined, I told you like I just send the message and wait, but it never used to work. So now I learned
And then your message was probably not even strategic, right? You were
yes,
just
yes,
dumping on the other person.
yeah,
But one of the first things that we teach was really, how do you send out an effective message? And again, that's part of why you guys are called strategists, because you do not just send anything. You have to consider the fact of your audience. Number one, you know that they're very busy. Or number two, you know, like if, for example, they just put out a job ad, they're getting flooded with messages on LinkedIn. So the question for you guys as strategists is, how do you stand out above this crowd who's sending this person messages? So these are the strategies that Ivan was kind of like talking about. So actually, that's a good segue to give some technical information for this call as well. Ivan, did you have anything else to share
No,
along
that's
those
it.
lines?
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that share, Ivan. I'm going to share my screen really shortly so that for the people new to the concept of business relations, you can start learning what the rest of your colleagues and classmates have been talking about for the last 25 minutes. So this is what they're talking about. When you go to LinkedIn and you go to the LinkedIn group, by the way, if you're not part of the LinkedIn group, in the search box, you type in Illinois Tech. Actually, is my bandwidth still bad? I'm going to kill the video for a second to see if that helps. In the search box, you type in Illinois Tech Career Services, like you're seeing. And then for demonstration purposes, that wasn't good. All right, let me do it again. Illinois Tech Career Services, like so. And then when you click enter, you're not looking for the people entry, you're looking for the groups entry. So if you click groups, you will see the Illinois Tech Career Services group. If you're not part of it, it says join. If you are part of it, you can go directly into the group. And what's the most important piece aside from the information that people need to know about in this group? Somebody unmute. Tell me what it is. Nobody?
The number of people on the group.
The number of people in the group, yes. You can start networking with that. But what's the 24/7? What is that, Manoj?
The index. The
The
index.
index. All right. So the index that we're calling generically the index was not originally an index. So let me just clarify that. It's usually, if you just scroll down on LinkedIn, sometimes LinkedIn decides to show it, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, you're seeing it on the screen, but just scroll down, it showed it there again. It showed, in this case, it didn't show it. So just keep on scrolling until you see it. So just click one instance of it. The document that you're seeing is available to you 24/7. And originally, like I stated, it was not intended as an index. It was just a collection of links. However, after we started sharing this document with students, they were like, wow, this is great information that's going to help us. So if you take a look, we had to find a way to call the topics out. So we can talk about alumni. We put the hashtag in front of it. So hashtag alumni, hashtag business relations, hashtag indicates the topic, hashtag communication, hashtag cover letter. The topic obviously for today is business relations. So let me take you to the hashtag business relations part of the index. And this is what most of the students on this call have been learning over the past couple of months. So for starters, for people new to this call, Chantru maybe, or Narani, if you wanted to review this, there was a recording, which is the first bullet, or you could see this further down. It says the power of business relationships is a second recording. You could listen to either of those two. And then let me point you to some of the nuances that Antoinette, Ivan, and Manoj have been talking about. This third bullet that says connect code, connect practice, and connect messaging. If you remember, Ivan was talking about before he started learning this information, he was just sending messages and then wondering why he was not necessarily getting results. So connect code, if you scroll down slowly under hashtag business relations, you see the third group. It's a group of messages called connect messaging. The second group, connect practice. And then the first group, connect code. So under connect code, it's showing you the wrong way of sending messages, which I guess Ivan was kind of smiling earlier because his messages felt into this category before he did that. So after you check out the wrong way to send messages. Connect cold is a group of messages that suggests how you differentiate yourself when you're reaching out to hiring managers or recruiters or people in companies that you want. And you will be surprised once you open these in how short they are and how different they are in the intuitive approach that we normally think of when we reach out to strangers. Before we go there, I'd also like to do a Control F or a Command F and type in American small That didn't quite do it. I think it's just small talk, right? Small talk. There it is. For beginners into this topic, this part that says American small talk, I want you to start with this because this whole premise of business relationships in talking to strangers from scratch is contained in this, or you could Google it some more and take a look at American small talk. So the internet is kind of slow again. I showed you where to find it in the index. I'll review it. Connect cold is suggestions on how to open the door with these people who are cold connections. Cold meaning you don't know them. Once students understand some of these messages, they can practice with some of these people. There's 20 people that you can connect with and practice what you learned in Connect Cold. And then once students started attending these meetings or they started learning from reaching out to people, one of their biggest questions was, hey, Bert, what do we do now? What do I say next? So this next group of messages, Connect Messaging, are giving you some of the strategies that Ivan alluded to, okay? If they're not responding to you, what do you do? So it's talking about things like you should follow, you should comment, or maybe just say thanks if they accepted your connection request and they didn't say anything. So you guys can start learning some of this information. So I review what I just shared. You have 2 recordings that you can listen to that gets into some of this more technical material. You take a look at Connect Cold, Connect Practice, and Connect Messaging to learn some of the strategies that people are talking about. Did I miss anything, guys? For beginners in the topic that we're talking about? Emily, did you have anything to add? Or
No,
anybody else?
no.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to continue some of the applications that students have shared so far. So thank you so much for your contribution so far, Antoinette, Ivan, and Manoj. I know Shubham has been one of the people who also started learning this a while back. Shubham, did you want to take the time? The question that I started with, folks, since today's topic was more of how to jumpstart the career fair at the end of September. What's your experience been, Shubham, and what suggestions can you give some of the newer folks to this information?
So you're talking about the career fair, right?
Yes, career fair. So with you, Shubham, because you've been applying some of this information in general, and we've had various applications. And I was sharing with students that our application last summer was how do we apply business relations and using that to invite people to the career fair. So today's topic is a little bit of nuanced in that we're not inviting employers to the career fair now. What we want to tell students for today's session is, or maybe this and the subsequent sessions is, how can people maximize their connections with people for this career fair that's coming at the end of September? And by the way, these strategies don't just work before the career fair, it can occur during the career fair, but more importantly, it can occur after the career fair. So what I'm really saying in short is these strategies that Antoinette, Ivan, Manoj have been sharing about, and Shubham, which is about to share, is that these approaches are harnessing the power of LinkedIn to get into the companies that you do want. I was buying you time, Shubham. That's why I kind of like said quite a bit so that you
Okay.
can collect your thoughts
Mhm.
and share with the folks What are
Sure.
your suggestions?
Right, sure. So I would like to tell my journey from last 1 year with the Bernie and the career fair. So it's like
Did you say
uh,
20 years, Shubham?
no, it's like in last 1 year.
Oh, okay. Last year.
Yeah,
I thought you said last 20 years. I'm
no.
like,
So it's been last 1 year. So I have attended last year career fair and then this Feb 24 career fair. So what I have been observed that um, what I got the strategies basically I would like to tell that so we can see the how many companies are going to be coming in the career fair. So we can basically reach out on LinkedIn to particular those companies recruiters from the particular location I would like to say, and then start reaching out before the career fair and like at least build some kind of relationship, build a relationship where the next person can know you as a by name basically. So and you by your work. So in career fair you can reach out to them as a in person and tell your story basically pitch tank. So yeah, so prepare your pitch basically for 2 minutes, 2 minutes pitch, I think it is. So that is something I feel that that is most impressive thing I can do. And then apart from this, what I have done, a few companies are also coming for the virtual career fair, which already attended in the campus career fair. So again, going to virtual career fair for the same company where we can tell them that we already spoke and you can improve your uh, improve your whatever like you wanted to work in the particular field or something like that. So this is some few things I would like to mention, and obviously on the resume part. So yeah, job related resume is important. Thank you.
cool. Thank you, Shubham. So what Shubham was sharing earlier that I heard him say was you could obviously wait until the career fair and make your connections with folks out there. But what I heard him say, or at least my interpretation of what I heard, was that you don't have to wait for the career fair. So you mentioned that, well, we could get to know who is attending the career fair, and I'll share my screen shortly for the audience so that we can see how to do that. He's saying that you don't have to wait for the actual career fair. Why don't you see who's attending? Start to make connections in those companies even way before the end of September when these companies will come online so that there's some familiarity with who you are so that when you shake their hand, you're not doing it like Shubham was suggesting. It's like your elevator pitch for the first time because you waited for the actual career fair. Now you have all this lag time, if you will, or ahead time, where you're creating the relationship, and it's not as crucial now to be making your pitch, which is usually what happens during a career fair. Did I capture that correctly, Shubham? Please correct me if I didn't.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a reaction to Shubham? So I wanted to add something to what Shubham shared. Thank you, by the way, Shubham. Before I go into handshake to show you guys the
Yeah.
audience or the newer folks. Go ahead, Ivan.
Yeah, for me, like I just wanted like to share my experience of the career fair.
Go
So
ahead,
like
please.
yeah, like I think I have attended around 4 career fairs from college. Yeah, and all of them they should be before I attended this business relations meeting. So like my experience of it was no good, and the I've I did not see any like any chance to get a job from there. Like honestly speaking, I've never attended one, and I felt like, oh, I'm going today like to get a job. So
So you went to 4 with the
around 4 because yeah,
expectation that you were going to get a job.
no, I used to just go like I was down. Like I don't have any motivation. I just go like because I see like so many students, everyone is talking about their resume. They're giving
Okay.
just submit it because some companies they just say put your resume there. Then the bunch has like around 200 resumes. And then
Okay.
you have like 30 seconds to talk to the recruiter. Like I don't see an opportunity for you like to even like go for an interview. So like
Okay.
So my
So what
experience,
shifted? What shifted for you,
I don't know yet
Ivan?
because I don't know yet. So I really don't know how I'm going to like deal with this because like there are like 1,000 students at the career fair and you really have to like apply the skill. I don't know if it is possible, but that's what I just wanted to share because it's really difficult. Like normally there are like so many students and there are long lines. You have to just
Mhm.
be lining up to wait for the person who's recruiting. So I don't see like opportunity somehow. Though I hear that people get jobs from career fair. I don't know.
Well, you can get jobs at career fair, but that should not necessarily be the main focus because career fairs, they have evolved through the years as well. Okay, I just came from a meeting where they called career fairs as an archaic way for companies to find the people that they want. Because one of the things we're observing is that bigger companies like Amazon or Google, they have their own career fairs that's specifically just for their company. So they don't necessarily go to universities and do their recruiting that way. So that's only one of the changes that's happened in today's career landscape. So knowing that, and also knowing the fact that you can connect with people with tools like LinkedIn, even before a physical gathering of people, how do you think what Shubham shared, Ivan, could help you? What would you need to do before you go to the career fair?
To do your homework.
Meaning what exactly? What homework would you do specifically, Ivan?
Yeah, so
So let's start this. I'm going to share my screen and you're going to work with me. So let's start from scratch. Say I was a new student and I wanted to go to the career fair, and then I'm being, prompted with this call to do my homework. So can guys see my handshake? Let me just
Study about the company you want.
yes. So hang on, let me shift to the student login so that you guys are seeing it just like students would. So let's make this a team effort. So we're teaching
Register.
some of the newer students. What do I go to on Handshake so that I can prepare for the career fair? On
Events.
the left-hand side.
Events.
Events, very good.
Register.
What's next?
Register. So you scroll down and
Okay,
let's go to the career fair and see if it's open for registration.
so career fair, there is also a search box. So how about under events, I just type in category career fair,
Yes.
and then I click, oops. Apologies, class, because with all the buttons that view 12 results. It says Illinois Tech Fall 2024 on-campus career fair, September 25, 26. I'll click this. Where should I go now, Antoinette?
It's still loading, but you have to register if it's open for registration, I guess.
Okay. So once you're open for registration, how do I
Then you,
find
okay, you need to
which
see the employers that are
employers?
coming in. You check for the employers that are going to be
So
there.
you see on the screen, it says all employers, right?
Yes,
After we
yes,
find the career fair, we click all employers.
yes.
And
You click on the major that suits you.
voila. So we have ADM, Arco, Atlas Engineering. So let's pick one company. All right. Let's just say I'm going to pick Brindley Engineering Corporation. So this is just for demonstration purposes for this call. If I know that Brindley Engineering Corporation is going to be there, what do I do next, class? I now go to,
Follow them on LinkedIn.
very good. I now go to LinkedIn as you're seeing on the screen. LinkedIn. LinkedIn. So we're gonna need to wrap this up shortly and end with this topic. So it was Brindley. In the search box, you type in Brindley Engineering Corporation. I actually just saw it, but Zoom has its floating bar corporation. You guys see it, right? Brindley Engineering
Yes.
Corporation. Thank you, Antoinette. Anybody else? What do I do next?
Follow. Okay, any other person? Okay.
Anybody, it could be you. What do
Yeah,
I do now?
you create a connection with them. You follow them,
With
connect with
who?
them.
These guys that I'm seeing on the screen with this lady there? How do I connect? How do I connect with them?
Oh, okay. After for me, what I will do is I will connect like with this corporation. Then I will now go and check for like the people that also work
How,
here.
how, Antoinette? Tell me
Oh,
right now so we can demonstrate
people,
it to the folks.
people.
People. So you see where I see home, about, post, jobs, and people. Antoinette said to click people.
Yeah.
And then you see 143 associated members. If I scroll further down, they're showing some of these people, and then they work for Brindley Engineering Corporation. So my question to the class is, from the standpoint of background of relatedness, who are the easiest group of people at Brindley that I have an instant background of relatedness?
Illinois Tech.
Very good. You're seeing it right on the screen. It's showing where they study. Of the 143 people that this is showing, it's showing that eight people attended Illinois Tech. So I'm going to check that out under the, I clicked Illinois Institute of Technology, and it's showing those 8 people. So
Yeah, the
now
filter.
I have the 8 people that we can start making connections with and start applying what Ivan was talking about earlier by doing it on LinkedIn, or if you have the opportunity to maybe go to a networking event in person, like Antoinette and Manoj shared, you go looking for some of these guys.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yes.
Anything I miss?
This is a new strategy for me, I must say. Okay, that's what I
Oh,
will do.
I thought
Thank
this
you.
is what you've been doing. So
No,
Ivan,
what I mean, like new strategy, like so when I attend career fairs, I just know the companies, but I don't usually connect with them on LinkedIn. But this, what you just showed me now, is different.
I'm glad you said that, because that's part of what we're discussing today, how to
Yeah.
jumpstart your career fair, which is until the end of September. So what we just showed you today is how to find out, number one, which companies are attending the event, and number two, whether these people show up or don't show up to the career fair. You now have your fingers or your hands on some of the people who work at Brindley, if Brindley was your target, for example. Questions from the team? Any questions, folks?
Yeah, question.
Go ahead, Ivan.
So is it okay if, like, say you go and apply the strategy, now you want to like find out who's coming to the career fair from the company?
Mhm. Mhm.
Is
I
that
think
okay?
some of them have a name that's there, but again, if you're a strategist, would you necessarily contact the person who's listed? It makes sense, right, to contact the person who's listed, but it may not be the most strategic approach, because guess what? That person's quite busy right now.
Yeah, true.
Did you catch that? That's why you
Yeah.
guys are being strategic, and that's why we talked about reading the situation earlier. So now you're seeing the interconnection of everything all the students who've shared on this call so far have shared. Now you're seeing a real live application. So thanks for asking that question, Ivan. Any follow-up to that question from
Yes.
Ivan or anybody else?
Yeah, so now like what you can do when you get chance to talk to that person who comes, you can talk about the person you've connected with. Like
Exactly. You
yeah.
say, hey, do you know Eric? Assuming you created a good relationship with Eric. Hey, I've been talking to him on LinkedIn. He said this, he said that. And again, let me just create a fictional situation where you created this relationship with Eric. You could have said, hey, I noticed that Brindley is coming to Illinois Tech, and then he shared something with you. These are little bits of information that you could share with the other party that kind of make you stick out. They'd be like, oh, Ivan, that was that guy who actually connected with Eric. Are you guys connecting the dots?
Yes.
Any other Comments or
Yeah, I have a question.
questions?
Yeah, I have a question. In addition to
ahead.
like what we have in common, that is the people who worked at who were students, former students of Illinois Tech. Should we also, is it advisable we also connect with recruiters as well?
Yeah, actually, you can connect with anybody. That's why you're being taught the strategy. But in the interest of time, we just talk about connecting via alum. So what you're
Okay.
seeing on the screen is it has all sorts of filters, where they live, where they studied, what else? What they
What they
do,
do.
engineering, what they're
Hmm.
skilled in, etc. And then you
It makes
start
sense.
finding who these people are. And then when you go to their profiles, it takes you to yet another level of investigating, if you will, or doing your homework to try to find out some background of relatedness. Okay, you see this part where it's saying, how are you connected? Sometimes if you click that, that's why you want to play around with LinkedIn to see who's connected to whom. And then you could say, hey, Antoinette, I didn't know you knew Ivan. Ivan and I actually worked together or something like that. You guys getting the idea?
Yeah. I saw that this how are you connected second and third? What does that mean? I do see that in second, third,
Yes,
some profile.
second
What
and
does it mean?
third. So let me give you an example. So Antoinette. So Antoinette is my first connection. That means we're directly connected.
Mhm.
If I connect with some of the people that we're both connected to, you notice how it's saying some of these are also my connections because it's showing as first on my view. So their
Okay.
first connection to me, their first connection to you. If it says anything that's second or third, which we'll probably find out like towards the end of the list. Wow, you and I have a lot of common connections.
We do.
So, but you see what I'm talking about? If you
Yeah.
went through a list and then it showed that it's second, that means that I'm not directly connected to them. So it's
Okay.
degrees of separation. If it's at third, they're even farther away from me.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
the beauty of LinkedIn is once you connect with somebody, you're also connected to their second degree connection. So as you're connecting with new people, it's really expanding your reach.
Okay.
Good question. Other
Thank-
questions? Last 5 minutes.
So the question I have, so if you connect with someone, say who is connected to a big person, so now you become like second to the person.
Yes. If they're connected to a big person, but that doesn't mean anything because I mean they could not be on LinkedIn necessarily. I mean, you could name drop. Or let me give you an example, like last summer, when we had that alumni event where we were trying to find AI speakers for our Illinois Tech event. So one of the things that we did for speakers was I was connecting to all these alum at Illinois Tech who were at the higher level. They were like either C-suite, working for these big companies, but I couldn't get a hold of them. And then I would do exactly what I just showed on the screen. I would go to the person's website like this, and it shows our common connections. And I noticed that some folks at Illinois Tech were connected with them. Antoinette, you know this person actually. He works at Global
Yeah.
Services, and then I
She was
asked.
she was my classmate. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked Raj actually if he knew this person directly, and he's like, no, they were just a connection on LinkedIn. So, I mean, sometimes people just connect just to connect, and you don't know. But to your point, they could also be good friends. I don't know, maybe they went to the same university or they grew up in the same town or whatever. So it's always worth investigating. But I want you to get out of this conversation today is LinkedIn with over 1 billion global users. You will find somebody that can help you in whatever it is that you need in the moment. Would you agree? Nobody
Yeah.
agrees?
Yes,
I
I agree.
And I guess that's what you're learning with business relations. Other questions? No questions? So in the final 3
Yeah,
minutes
so
or
the
5
question,
minutes,
I have one question.
what's your question?
Yeah, so say now like you research the companies that are coming. So you identify like 3, 4 companies. and
Mhm.
then you went to connect with the people.
You connect to people, it may not necessarily be the person who will come to Illinois Tech.
Yeah. So you're connecting with
But
people.
yes,
So
you're just
like,
connecting to people in that company.
yeah, so what are the strategic conversations that might fall into that caliber?
It's no different from what you've learned so far, right? So remember what we said earlier, the best place to go to for clues as to what to talk about. Because if you guys notice, when we started today's session, people were sharing success stories in that the conversations became organic because they did not necessarily start with, hey, help me find a job.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
guys seeing the connection?
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you've learned today still applies today. So it's not like you're learning new material. It's just a different application of what you already learned. So I repeat, the success stories at the beginning of today's session said that, some people were smiling, sharing about the great conversations they had with people because they did not immediately go into, hey, help me find a job. I'm being dramatic, obviously, but we all know that the purpose for these sessions is because you guys eventually want to have a job. But one of the things that you're learning is, Manoj kind of repeated it earlier, you don't go for the neck. And what we mean by going for the neck is you just say, hey, Antoinette, I just met you, help me find a job. Is usually the effective approach that people do. What you're being taught is that if you don't go directly into help me find a job, but you start with some background of relatedness, go to their profile, see something that's similar to you, or maybe, well, I'll be more specific. If you talk more about them, I repeat, if you talk more about them and not about me, this is my background, this is what I need, I want to work for your company eventually, you guys have already seen the results of focusing on the other party as if they were a human being. Ivan's example at the beginning of this call, he approached this person as a human being. Hey, you must be tired already after talking to all these people. And then guess what happened? That person was showing personal pictures because of the organic approach that Ivan took. So what we just shared today is just a different application. It's just a different set of students, but I really didn't teach you anything new. Everything else that you've learned during the summer, you just have a new application. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, guys, I think we're on the 1 hour mark. Thank you so much for attending today's call. If you have any specific questions that weren't addressed, please message me on LinkedIn. Otherwise, we will continue this conversation, same time, same bat channel on Thursday at lunch on Zoom. So thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Bali.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you, Bernie.